He said, if you want to take your clients, you can take every last one of them. All you need to do is have them sign this waiver, and they can go with you. And so I walked out of his office with 90 clients,
Tori.
turned the key to my own office with 90 people.
You moved to Dallas and now you're a therapist. You're like, I'm ready. Why didn't you pursue just working for a company? Or maybe you did
Yeah.
versus starting your own.
Sometimes when you get to the desert and you got your skills up, you be like, this desert ain't that bad. Because first of all, I'm making more money than I ever made as a funeral director. I was making nearly, with my whole entire package, it was close to $100,000 a year. I never made that kind of money as a funeral director. I mean, never. Okay. So I was making money. I was like, okay, I may not live in Atlanta, but I had weave in my hair at the time. So it's like every 10 weeks I drive to Atlanta. I hit I hit 85. I burn a hole in that, stay the weekend. My girlfriend's out there. We good. We gonna settle into the desert. I was like, okay, God, if this is where you have me, I'm not gonna leave. If Raleigh is gonna be it, fine. I'll settle in, right? And the minute I said that, about 2 weeks later, we had an emergency meeting. All managers in the region, we had an emergency meeting, and they said, we need you all to go on an unpaid furlough. Everybody on the funeral division has to go on this furlough. So they cut all of our payroll for a whole entire month.
Wow.
So I said, oh, okay. So the first thing I did was bet. I jumped in my car. I drove to Atlanta, and I stayed in Atlanta for a week. It was June 5th, 2016. The Lord woke me up out of my sleep and said, I want you to move to Dallas. So I got up and I said, okay, all right. So I went back to North Carolina and I started prepping. January 26th of 2017, I wrote my regional manager my resignation letter. I gave them my 2-week notice. And February the 6th, I think, I put I had a pod. The pods came and picked up all my stuff.
Right.
I had my clothes in my car. I drove to Atlanta, hung out with my friends for a week, got my weed touched up, and I moved on to Dallas. I came to Dallas, and then I was on the computer one day. I was looking for a job at a counseling agency, and I wasn't looking for this job, but the at the bottom of the screen on Indeed, another company pulled up, and the company was Logos Counseling. And when I saw the word Logos, because I'm a church girl, I knew that they had something to do with scripture, biblical, Christian. And so I just applied. I was like, well, this is not the one I came here to apply, but I'm applied. Went ahead and applied, got a call the next day. That Thursday, went in for an interview that morning. He was like, you're hired. I said, oh, okay. So I started working for Logos Counseling under the direction of owner Todd Baker. About a year and a half after that, the Lord had said, hey, you need to go out on your own. I was like, no, I got a salary here. Like, this is like
safe zone.
I'm not doing that. Like, look at the economy. I'm not doing it. And I went to Michelle Obama's Becoming. She was on book tour, and Becoming came to the American Airlines Arena here in Dallas. I went and I heard her speak, and she said, your purpose is too big for you to build someone else's dream and not your own. Mm. Now, when she came and spoke that, the owner, Todd, had come to me and asked me if I would take a salary position to be his marketing director. Because by that time, the Lord had started opening doors. I was pretty much bringing in my own clients. And he was like, whatever it is you're doing, usually therapists have a really hard time with marketing themselves. He's like, but you don't. He's like, I don't know what you did because people started calling specifically asking for me, and it wasn't referrals anymore from his company. They were just calling for me. I was on the news. I was everywhere. And he's like, I don't know what you're doing, but I want you to teach them how to do what you're doing because they need help. I said, let me pray about it. I went to Michelle's Becoming. After the meeting with him, he gave me a book called The E-Myth. I went to see Michelle Obama. I came back to him in January of that year. And I said, Todd, I can't take the job. I said, the Lord is calling me to go out on my own and I can't take it. And this is what he said. He said, I knew you weren't going to take the job when you left. He said, the Lord told me that you're too big for this. We are going to, and now this man had already had like 7 or 8 locations around North Texas. He said, we're not big enough for you. If you stay here, we're going to end up stifling you and you're not going to grow. God has something bigger for you.
Wow.
And so he said, here's what you can do. He said, here's what I'm going to do for you. He said, I already know that the Lord already told me that you were going to leave. He said, if you want to take your clients, you can take every last one of them. All you need to do is have them sign this waiver and they can go with you. And so I walked out of his office with 90 clients.
Tori.
Turned the key to my own office with 90 people.